Hi, you guys. We are back. Welcome back to a new episode of Too Much with Shey
and Becca. Welcome back, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed listening, getting to know us a little bit better last week's episode. Yes. I hope y'all, were in tune with us, locked in, and yeah.
That's like okay. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for our new subscribers. If you are new, welcome. We hope you stay along for the ride because today's episode is booked and busy. We have a lot to talk about. As we mentioned, we named this Too Much because we like to talk about a lot of things. And today's episode is packed with a range of topics. But if you are not new here, you know that we always begin with our weekly rundown. So let's go ahead and start with that.
What's happening? Oh,
whoa. So tell us, Rebecca, how was your week?
So as you guys know, we'll definitely get into it a little more later, but we just came back from the cruise. So, I'm trying to get acclimated and back into my habit because it threw off my schedule completely. But things have been good. Like, yeah, things have been good now that I think about it, honestly. But I did want to talk. So you, Shayla, know. I am not into the WNBA as much as Shayla is, but there are certain characters, within the NBA that I'm in tune with.
In the NBA or
WNBA.
Okay.
So one of the people is Dejanay Carrington, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing about her makeup is always on point. So she, people have always been asking, how do you get your makeup to stay on? And if it's anything I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trust a athlete who sweats a lot on what their makeup routine is going to be. So I remember when they asked her one time at the podium and she's like, waiting for that, basically that partnership,
Yeah.
And so she finally talked about it and she said that what she uses is the one size. Now I have a question for y'all. I sweat a lot. I'm not a big makeup girly, but when I put it on as you could tell. Okay. When I put it on.
You do put on makeup.
I don't put it on a lot.
Okay.
Only when I'm going out for real. You see, you trying to clock me. So, basically, one of my question is to the girls who do wear makeup, if you do watch this and you wear makeup and stuff like that, what is your setting spray routine for the girl? I want my makeup to stay even with the sweat. This is what I use. I use these three. I use the all-nighter ultra matte because I'm a matte girly. I have combination skin and right here in my T-zone, it get greasy. What?
I think we need to, I'll let you finish actually, and then I'll say my piece.
So three I use, like I was saying, is all-nighter, ultra matte. I also use the, who is this one again? Anastasia
Tilbury. It looks
Charlotte Tilbury. Yes, thank you, girl. Thank you. And I use the one size, but I feel like even when I use all three of these, when I sweat, my makeup is melting with me. So let me know what combination y'all use because I want a recommendation for real.
Okay, so I think you're burying the lead. What you have to start off with is Rebecca sweats just existing. She doesn't have combination skin.
I do.
Sweats. Okay, but let me finish what I'm trying to say. So we get the recommendations from the right people because it's not regular combination skin. Rebecca sweats. She doesn't need to be running on a treadmill, playing a basketball game. So we need recommendations for extreme sweaters. What do you use to set your makeup? Right. That will get you the right answers.
Right. So let me know what it is because I feel like I've been seeing so many different recommendations from people, but I feel like I've tried half of these brands and it does not work. So if there's a different, maybe I'm combining it the wrong way. So definitely let me know. Last thing I wanted to mention. So TikTok, there's always some type of different drama on TikTok. Obviously, we're going to get into more drama that's happening on TikTok later in our social corner. But one of the things that I was seeing that I just thought was a really quick mention. So you see a lot of girls who don't have children doing this trend to this song by Jacquees and basically the lyrics go 21 with no kids, like, you know, that song. So all these people are like doing their own version. They're like 40 with no kids or 31 with no kids. And so I've been seeing that a lot of people who do have kids like are triggered under the comments. They're like, oh, like, you think this is a flex, this, that, and the third. Like, some people are like, you're reaching outside of your childbearing years. And I'm like, to me, I think motherhood is a beautiful thing. And like anyone who is in motherhood, well, I said is in motherhood, anyone who has the like opportunity to really bear a child and really be a mother and everything like that, like, congratulations to you. But also to the people who don't have kids, who are living freely, doing whatever they want, congratulations to y'all too. When I saw this, like, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, keep scrolling. I didn't find a problem with it. I was like, cool. Like, if somebody does, you can't force someone to want to have kids. Some people don't want them. So it's like, how you gonna get mad at people celebrating the fact that they don't got kids and they can live freely? You like, that's weird.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people just want to be mad because it's like there's so many other things you can like look at and be mad about. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to be mad about that, because unless, I feel like the only people that get mad about that is the people that, you know, I don't want to say that they wish they didn't have the kids, but they feel like a button has been pushed. So you're like, oh my God, yeah, when I was younger, I did have because it's like, if you are living your best life with your kids, why are you offended? If anything, you should be like, oh, y'all think, yeah, you know, y'all living your best life, but now is when I'm really living life. You know,
exactly.
that's the stuff you scroll through and just laugh, because it's like, girl, they think they live a good life, but they actually not. And that's it. You keep it pushing.
Exactly. It's just all these people like doing these think pieces on it, talking about I have 4 children, and this, like, congratulations to you, Bookie Pop. But like, just because that's something for you, not everything is for everybody. And also, I think it's also important to note, not everybody wants kids, 1. And 2, some of the people,
I want kids.
I do want kids.
I just felt like I had to say that. If you are wondering and nosy like me.
I do want kids too. What? I told you I want 12. So anyway.
No, she doesn't.
I do. Shayla, stop telling people what I want.
I'm going to, because
that's crazy work. That's crazy work. But what I was getting at is, I think also we need to understand that the people who choose to not have kids have an understanding of like true balance in parenthood. Not everyone who has kids is meant to be a parent. And I feel like some people who come to terms with that and understand that, that's when you really find like you live a happier life. Because most people who have kids are like working off, like, yes, they want kids, but some people also are working off the idea that, what am I going to leave behind when I leave this earth? Type of vibe, like the legacy. And it's like, sometimes some of y'all's legacy isn't meant to live on. But that's all I had to say.
My week was great. I'm happy to be back on land. I didn't, honestly, when you come back from a trip, it's a lot. You know, I had to get acclimated to real life. I had to get an oil change. I had to grocery shop, because it's like, well, I didn't grocery shop before I left because I live alone. So I didn't want anything to go bad. And then it's just a lot. Honestly, I haven't broken the news of like my big elephant in my life, but also the fact that I have to, like, you know, a lot of communication. Because when we were on the boat, yes, I had my phone and I had internet. Speaking about phone, we love you, Deanna. We're gonna have to talk about what happened on this trip, but yeah, I'm glad to be back here and handling business. I love vacation. It was a cute moment. And on that note, let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about our experience on our first ever cruise. We went on a Royal Caribbean cruise. It was 4 days to the Bahamas. The first day was Nassau. And then we went to the perfect day at Coco Cay. And before we get into the whole cruise, I want to just start from the beginning. Rebecca, before we left, was very scared about planes flying. If you've scrolled through any news site, you have seen all the things about planes catching on fire, falling, all of these crazy things that out of all the days that these news could have broke, it felt like it was back to back to back. Meanwhile, I'm telling Rebecca, like, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry, because she hasn't been on a airplane since she was like younger. So let's talk about your experience. How did you feel now after the fact, after your round trip flight from United?
Mind you, after we booked this, like the whole trip, that's when all these like crashes I feel like started happening. And I was sending it to the group chat, like, y'all see this? Just know, oh, my spirit is going to find y'all. Like, that's literally what it was. Right. But honestly, I was very nervous. Like, as soon as I pulled up to the airport and I'm like talking to Shayla, I'm like, there's this random guy. He's like, you're gonna be fine. I said, you sound cool, calm, collected at 4:00 in the morning in your jeans, but sir, and me, my sweater and my leggings, we sweating over here.
Like, right.
Shayla mentioned, I haven't been on a flight since I was 13, so I was petrified. Takeoff was a real, like, I was not expecting it because they start going real fast. So I'm like, and there was nobody next to me, so I'm just gripping my seat like this.
Well, you didn't even mention you got upgraded.
Yes, I was supposed to be sitting next to one of my friends, and then they upgraded me randomly. I mean, I think it was better that I did it by myself rather than having somebody next to me, because it's like, if I do end up having to take a flight by myself one day in this world or whatever, like, I might be by myself. So it's just like, I think I'm glad that it kind of happened that way. The flight wasn't bad. I thought I wasn't going to go to sleep. I was knocked out.
So do you think that you overhyped it? Like, you thought it was going to be worse than it actually ended up being?
Yeah, it was like definitely one of those like face your fears type of moments. So it's like, after it happens, you're like, oh, I won't lie to you though. If you are terrified of flying, be prepared for when we come back down. Because every time, as soon as the airplane hits the ground, it's like, boom, like, yo,
yeah.
I was
because you have to understand, it's like the weight of the plane plus the 50 plus people that are on the plane. So we are just boom.
Girl, I said, ain't no way. My heart started beating as soon as we landed. But honestly, I would say, like, I feel like after the first time, now that I knew what to expect, the second time I was sitting next to like two other people, and one random was in the middle, and then my friend was also next in the window, and then I had a good line of sight to Shayla. So like, I feel like I was like cooler this time. Like, as soon as the flight, I put my bonnet on, I covered myself up, and I went straight to sleep before we even like started taking off. Like, I was like, I feel like once it happened, I got more acclimated and like understanding from the first time. The second time was like a breeze. The landing was still atrocious, but
at least you know what to expect. Like, it's never not gonna be that. Like, you're gonna feel that first impact. Do you think this prepared you now for when you go to Puerto Rico? Like, you'll be less scared?
For sure. And I think what I liked more on the flight when we were leaving is like, I feel like the pilot, when he was talking to us, and I'm talking about the first flight when we were going to Miami, I liked when he was talking to us and he was like, this is the wind speeds, this, that, and the third. Like, he had a real calm, cool, collective voice. The second one, he was like, listen, y'all, we gotta go. He was like, this is this. He barely talked to us for real. So I was just like, but I was like, it was cool. It was cool.
Okay, well, I love that. I'm so glad that you did it, because I feel like every time you were telling me how you were feeling, I was like, I don't want to like discredit or push off your emotions, but I'm like, I promise you that unless some crazy stuff happens, it's not going to be what you think it is. But like you mentioned, it's like that, those types of things that you have to do it yourself. It doesn't matter what other people tell you until you get through that fear or whatever, and you live through it and you see, no, it's not what your head has been plotting.
And I'm glad I didn't take anything. Like, one thing Shayla was stressing is like, I'm gonna bring all these different.
Because Rebecca was acting like she was gonna hyperventilate, and I'm like, I cannot handle that on a plane. I'm so sorry. So it's either you go to bed or you figure it out.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. When we was going to Miami, I ain't say nothing. My heart was beating. Like, I felt it. Oh my God. Girl. And then the thing is, Shayla and our friend Amani boarded before me. I was the last to board. Like, they were like boarding group 2 and 3, and me, I'm all the way in boarding group 5. I'm like, oh my God.
But you did it. Now let's get into Cruise Central. Okay, so we went, I'm a big photo person, so I'm gonna be sharing with you guys all photo videos. The videos may be vertical. I'm so sorry, but that's what's gonna happen. So, like I said, we went on a, oh my God, maybe I'm gonna put it like this. Okay, this is better. Cute. All right, so we went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, as you see right here. When I did research, I heard that this was like one of like the best brands. Rebecca, I was told, wants to really go on a Carnival cruise, but don't worry about it. I got eyes and ears.
You was talking to Deanna or Amani?
Don't worry about it. So I knew that Rebecca wanted to go on Carnival Cruise, but one thing about me, I feel like I had already done all my research, and this is the one that I had done my research for. And all my amazing friends were just like, they just wanted someone to plan it and tell me all the details, and I'll just send the money. So this is what I had already planned, and I'm like, girl, I am not about to do all of that. So anyways, we went on Royal Caribbean.
Who are you talking to about me?
And this is the boat right here. This is the boat right here. And I want to show you guys a little. This is like, they had little hot tubs on the deck. They had a theater. Y'all see it. It was like decks on decks on decks. They had a pool. Rebecca is, girl, not you texting while I'm talking.
Because I'm trying to figure this out.
Girl, who cares? Anyways. This is who we were with. You see this amazing photo. That's Rebecca. This is when we went to Nassau. Me, Amani, and Deanna. I feel like we mention them all the time. So here you go. This is Amani and Deanna. Imani is Rebecca also has black, but Amani is next to me. And then Deanna is in the white. So this is let me also show you guys. This is like the room that we. Let me show you the bathroom. Where's the bathroom? Right. Yes, I took a video of that.
We got a fridge. It's not cold, but we have a fridge.
How it will operate, we'll know later. Was Deanna saying that they had a little fridge. So moral of the story is I had fun. The food was mid. There was a lot. Listen, one thing I can say about Royal Caribbean, I can only talk about Royal Caribbean because I don't know how other things work. They keep you booked and busy. It was events after events after event after event after event. And they break it all down on their app. So for me, I love that because all you really have to do is go through the stress of booking it and paying, whether you want a drinking package, which I didn't know. Once you purchase like your cruise, then that's when the spending really starts, because drinks are not included. You got to buy a drinking package. If you want alcohol, you get the deluxe. If you want, just like coffee and like regular drinks, you can get what we got, which is like a refreshment package or whatever. And then if you want Wi-Fi is not free. You need to pay for that, which I did. But let's start from the beginning. We went to our little sail away party. We flew to Miami, and then Miami, we went to this place called Bacon Bee, and
it's Bacon Bitch. She just
okay. And did you like that place?
So originally, one of my birthdays, I was planning to go to Miami, and I had already created a list of all the different places like I've been seeing people rave about, and Bacon Bitch was on that list. So I already knew what to expect because I did my research on it. So when we got to Miami, we were looking for something that was close to like the port, like, in terms of traveling distance. So one of the places was Bacon Bitch. So when they said it, I'm thinking everybody already kind of had an understanding. I was like, oh my God, that was on my list. So Deanna gets in the car and she's trying to call them to see if we can make a reservation. And Deanna was like, she's like, they said, hey, bitch. And I was like, yeah, that's what they do. And then Shayla was like, oh no. Everybody's like, what? So we get into the establishment and they just, they do what they do. Like, they're like, hey, bitch, how you doing, bitch? Da-da-da-da. We're going to seat you over here, bitch.
Yeah, but the one that got me, tell them about after we ordered. After we ordered, what happened with the menus?
With the menus? What you mean?
Yeah, what they told us to do with the menus after we were done ordering.
Oh, she was like, give me wasn't she like, give me the menus, bitch?
Or like pick up the menus.
Bitch.
And I'm like, how I'm paying for this service and you, I don't know. I felt like maybe like Rebecca said, if I would have known that was the vibe that they were on, I would have been like, oh, okay, because I already knew. Yeah. But just coming off rip, you just calling me B. I'm like, I don't even know you. But if you are like a big party girl, twerker, drinker, it seems like it's a vibe. But in terms of food, the food was just like, they gave me a plate like this for this big piece of chicken. I couldn't even cut it. It was just a lot. But if you're not worried about food, you're worried about vibes, drinking, turn up. They have like shot o'clock and whatever. It is a vibe. But I think it's more party, not a place you go because you want to eat so bad.
The thing is, like, I feel like also you gotta go in there knowing, like Shayla said, if she had known, like, I think for me, because I knew that was like the skit of it all, I knew that it wasn't trying to be nothing disrespectful. But if like you just walk up in there and the first thing you getting called is a bitch, you like,
I was so like caught off guard. I'm like, okay. So after that, it was like a cute little vibe. Then we headed towards the port, and then all things are great. Boom, boom, boom. We went to like, what is it called? Like, you got to do some training before.
We went to some safety training thing, which was like literally a waste of time because it was dude like saying like, okay, this is where you go if something happens, and then we got sent off. And so then we go. This is Shayla's about to show you the video, but this is basically like the sail away party, right?
So essentially, like, this is the party where you head towards, it's a little party to celebrate the fact that we're about heading out.
And Shayla was like, oh, like there's people waving by. And Shayla's like, Rebecca, why don't you wave? I'm like, do I look like a fan? Like, why am I gonna wave?
Right.
So, y'all,
you would not imagine what we were about to tell you.
It's not funny. I mean, it's funny now that you think about it, but in the moment, it was like, oh, so we were like, everybody's like, let's go to the top deck to see like the boat sail off.
Right.
I had leggings that had pockets in it, and if you know me, I'm very clumsy. So the first thing in my head, I was like, let me put my phone in my pocket. I am not about to drop my phone. So like I'm looking off. I'm like seeing, like looking at the drinks and stuff. I'm just looking off, and I hear something hit a banister. And so then when I go to look, I just see a phone spiraling into the ocean. And then like it wasn't until Shayla was like, oh my God. And I'm like,
I was recording Rebecca. With the whole incident of like, oh, because she was coming for the people for waving at us. And I'm just like recording Rebecca, ha. And then that's when I said, oh my.
It didn't hit me. Deanna, I'm sorry. It's funny now that I think about it. But in that moment, Deanna dropped her phone into the whole ocean.
Yes, you heard that right. We haven't even sailed away from the decks or whatever you call it, and her phone fell into the ocean. A very important note here: before we even went on this trip, Deanna was very adamant that she didn't want us to get the Wi-Fi package. She said, no, this is a great opportunity for us to unplug. And I was team unplugged until it started getting real. And I'm like, nah, I need to be a little bit clocked in with what's happening. So I got the Wi-Fi package, but Deanna was still like, no, we're good. We're just going to have all the fun in the world and unplug. And then this happens.
Mother Nature unplugged her for real.
And honestly, all I could say was, I don't know what to say. Because I felt so bad. I was like,
that's literally what Shayla said, though. She said, I don't even know what to do right now. I was silent because nothing I could say was going. And I give Deanna a lot of credit because personally, they would have stopped. They would have had to stop the boat.
Trip is over.
Trip was over. I would have found a return flight that same day. But Deanna went into like fix-it mode, and she called her friend on Shayla's phone so that they could order a new one, and she ended up getting her phone back, but she had no phone the entire trip. So she was just using all of our phones for like photos and stuff like that. So Deanna, I will say your problem solving was amazing, because my problem solving would have sent me home. Like,
I would have problem solved, but I at least need an hour to feel my emotions.
Yeah, we would have to send me back to the
2
room.
seconds and was like, I need to speak to whoever she needed to speak to. And the fact that she knew her phone number. The thing about me is I don't know no one's phone number. Like, I actually don't know nobody. Like, the good thing is we have common friends. So like, I know my sister follows Rebecca on Instagram. So at least I know how I can maneuver back. But phone numbers, oh yeah, it's a wrap. So anyways, that was our entrance to the trip. And I felt so bad because what? We haven't even left for the trip, and your phone in the ocean is just, I will never forget that ever.
That's something you see in a movie. You don't see that in real life.
Exactly. So we did that. We tried to like problem solve. We were all very like, whatever you need, use our phones. And like, I was in the room with her. So I'm like, if you want to take all the photos, all the whatever, like play music, you can use my phone. You know what I mean? So we got past that. The sail away party was cute. We went to like, they had a silent karaoke. Silent karaoke. We went to an amazing ice skating show. Tell the people,
it was real cute, actually. I remember when Shayla was like, oh, I want to go to this like ice skating show. And like us being like, because technically the trip was for Shayla's birthday. So it's like, we're like, sure, if that's what you want to do, cool. I had my expectations was at 0. And I'm kind of glad that I had those expectations, because like, I feel like if I had like overhyped it in my head, I feel like it would have lived up to the expectations for sure if I lived it up. But I feel like because I had I'm like, okay, this is whatever. But y'all did y'all big one. First off, to be ice skating on a moving ship is crazy. The music, the everything was like top tier. Like, I liked it a lot.
I'm gonna play like 2 seconds of this clip. So as you can see, baby, this was just like one little clip.
And that clip doesn't even do it justice for real.
It was like amazing. And then the next day, they even have a club in the club. Let me show you this video.
Which video?
Of the people in the club. I want to show you. I have so many.
I wish you got the clip of them doing the worm on the ground. We was all stunned. I couldn't believe
I have it. Dang. Anyways, there was a club, and
I just want to start. So that was day 1. We went to the ice show and everything. Day 2, we went to the Bahamas. First of all, baby, I would clean up if I lived in the Bahamas. I just know it.
Can I show a video of you turning up in Nassau?
I was turning up. What was I doing? You got a video of me?
Yeah. Can I show it? Do I have permission?
Sure. I just don't know what the video is.
Hey.
Go Becca! Go Becca!
So that was Rebecca living her best life in Nassau. Mind you, we get there. Rebecca hates walking. She's so mad. Where are we going? Why are we going here? Why are we going? Why are we stopping?
I wasn't that mad.
We were. Why are we stopping here? I'm like, well, I want to get a coconut. Right? We walk to where the ocean is, and I see the coconuts. Rebecca don't like coconuts, but I do. So I said, I want to get coconut water. It's like, she was like, okay, because she's gonna do it. But I see her face. She's not happy about it. But at the end of the day, I wanted my coconut water. And thank God I wanted the coconut water, because if not for the coconuts and the coconut water, she hadn't met the people.
Shout out to Patience.
Exactly.
Shout out to him. First of all, in the Bahamas, they will call you baby all day. They will baby you down. Okay, Justin Bieber, baby, baby, baby. Oh, like it was just giving like, and I had to tell them, I was like, listen, I get attached. Stop calling me that.
Yeah. They definitely, but I don't know if when you're in touristy areas, I don't take anything they say serious.
Oh no.
Because at the end of the day, they'll do anything to bag papers. I know some people use that as joke, but it's real serious. Like, especially like in DR, when you at the resorts, baby, they will sing you whatever you want. They'll put it in a platter. Everything is great. That's a beautiful thing of like when you're a tourist, they'll treat you real right. But when you actually live in there, I'm sure it's completely different.
Girl, I'm sure you could live in true delusion if like you were into as a tourist. Like you could literally live in true delusion. But because I feel like also we don't be taking nobody seriously like that. So it was like kind of like, okay, cool. Like they was gassing us up, giving us free drinks, free hookahs. Like, yes, go ahead, give me what I want. Yeah. But like I'm not really taking you seriously for
the one thing I didn't like was the weather. It wasn't when we went to Nassau, it was very windy.
I love that. Like I was thriving. But I want to ask, like, you know, because we could go through our whole days or whatever there. What would you rate your whole experience out of 10?
I think it was a 7 out of 10. I had a lot of fun. The only thing that I did not like was the food. And I wish the weather would have been better. Those are the two things. The weather and the food were very mid. But I feel like I understand why people like going on cruises, right? Like I know the idea of it sounds crazy, but once you're on the ship, honestly, there was times where I would forget that I was on a cruise ship. Like I just, you're into whatever activity you're doing. I think maybe if they didn't have as many activities, I would be bored. But I feel like that we always had something to do. It was never like, oh, well, I'm on a cruise ship and there's nothing to do. So I would say 7 out of 10. How about you?
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
What did you not like?
One of my goals for the trip was to not get annoyed, and that was cute.
That's just you.
That was just
nothing to be annoyed about.
Right.
So what you liked and what you didn't like?
I liked the people that we met. Shout out to you, Cole, Mr. Tennessee. Shout out to you.
Yes.
Roselli and George. Those were literally our cruise aunt and uncles. Like, what?
They were in a dining area. They had like, you can go to a buffet style thing where you can get your breakfast and lunch, dinner, and you serve yourself, right? They have a variety of things. Or you can go during a certain time frame window, right? To actually be served, like if you were like at a restaurant, 3-course meal, whatever. So Deanna and I woke up on time to go to the breakfast and stuff and do the whole dining experience for breakfast. But usually for dinner, we all went together. And that's where we met Roselli and George, who were like our waiters, right? They have a dynamic duo. One person focuses on like delivering the food and the other one is mainly like drinks. So that's who they are.
Yeah, shout out to them. Roselli from Belize, and George was from Kenya. Yeah, shout out to them. So they were real cool. Like we love them. I will say, to Shayla's point on the dining service, when we went to the dining room, Rebecca was shook on day 2, I believe. I was shook because as soon as we sat down, this lady, like a lady who walked us over to our table, you know, the little things that you put on the lap. She literally took the napkin and I said, oh, it's okay. She was about to put it on I was stunned for the rest of the cruise. I could not let that go. It was the next day and I was like, I can't believe she did that.
Yeah, they not open the door, but like the chair they push surface was on 20,000. I will give them that.
I was like, that is like, and I get it. Some people really love that stuff, like, you know,
fine dining or whatever.
Yeah, Shayla mentioned this while we were there. We're like, you know, this is just something we're not acclimated to, but I cannot see myself being okay with that. Like, I can literally do that. You don't have to do that for me. Like,
right.
That's just the type of laziness that I just.
But what didn't you like?
The food, 1. 2, Amani, Deanna, love y'all down, but y'all need to see a doctor. The amount of times we stopped for them to use the bathroom irritated me alone. Like Like, mind you, we could have gone to the bathroom 30 minutes ago. Then 30 minutes later, they try to sneak off and go to the bathroom. Like, what are y'all do? Like, y'all
not sneak off. I don't think they sneak off. They just went to the bathroom.
That I could like literally blew mine. Like, if I was in the bathroom 5 times a day, and I'm not even exaggerating, they went 25. Like, it was not okay.
Okay, so this is a question for the people. How often should you be going to the bathroom? Because I'm gonna speak for them. They say that we are the problem because we don't go to the bathroom enough, right?
But we all drink the same amount.
What's the normal range of peeing? Like, if you pee at 5 p.m., should you have to pee when? When's a healthy range?
Like,
Comment
maybe
down below.
Right, let me know. But like Shayla said, if you drink something at 5, I feel like you should be able to go to the bathroom at 6:30 or maybe 6:45. Like, that's when it should.
No, that's wrong though.
Going 15 minutes later is not healthy. There's a hole somewhere in your intestine. Like, that's not okay. That's not
to
okay.
me, that didn't bother me because it's like if they had to go, they don't gotta go. They go to the bathroom.
10 minutes is not healthy.
Okay, so
that automatically blew my stuff, and I was ready to go home.
What's
number 3? What else was it? I feel like one thing I will say, I don't think cruises are for me, honestly, and I think this is why. Because one, I wanted like. One thing that I think me and Amani, I think Shayla said it too, and Deanna, like, we were like, we wish we could have gone more into the community, especially when we were in Nassau, because it's like you drop off at the Bahamas, well, Nassau at 8:30, and you're supposed to be back on the boat. I think we had to be back by like 3:30 or 3. And it's just like, by the time we got off the boat, it was like 10:30, maybe 11. So it's like we had to start moving back to the boat around like 2. So it's like, I just feel like it was kind of rushed. Like, I wish we could have saw more than just be on the beach and stuff. Like, I wanted to get out of the touristy areas for sure. And I feel like when you are in like, when you do go to those places and you just go to visit without like the cruise and stuff like that, you're given that opportunity. So I think that's what like bothered me also. I did like the events that were on the cruise, but I feel like there are certain events that people will want to go to, and they all were kind of scheduled around the same time. And so like you had to pick and choose which ones you would go to, I feel like. So I just feel like spacing. I don't know if I'd ever want to go on a cruise again, but if I did end up going on a cruise again, I definitely want to experience Carnival, because I feel like Royal Caribbean, as great as it was in terms of like experience, sure, it was too many families and there was not enough minorities. Like, I'm sorry. I was just like, I'm like, it's kids everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I loved it. I love seeing the little kids and stuff, but it's just like, I had to like read the room too many times. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, you still did whatever you wanted.
Not twerking in front of nobody's kids.
You was still doing what you wanted to do.
Whatever. Also, I was able to read my book, so that was good.
Okay, well, we hope you guys enjoyed our little breakdown of how we felt going on our first Royal Caribbean cruise. And yeah, if you guys want
to go on a girls trip again,
I thought it was fun. I feel like I don't get irritated easily, and if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it regardless of whoever's mad and whoever doesn't want. Like the coconut, I knew people was mad that we had to stop, but it's also my trip. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I think compromising is very important if you are going on a girls trip, understanding that things aren't always gonna go your way. And like, if you do want to stick together, sometimes you're gonna have to say yes to a certain event, even if you don't want to go to it. But then the next day, like, okay, well, where do you want to go today? You know what I'm saying? Like, compromising is key for a girls trip. Because if not, if you want it to be your way the whole time, oh yeah, you was gonna be real upset.
I think, would I go on a girls trip again? I think if it's me and one other person.
Girl, you're going on to Puerto Rico.
Oh, I know. And that's one thing that's low-key one of my stresses. I'm like, I hope people don't irritate me.
Well, you're going to be irritated. So now we hope you guys enjoyed that. Now let's move on to, I don't want to say bigger issues, but I do want to mention this because it is going to be in all the headlines and all the things. As I feel like I mentioned earlier in one of our podcasts, President Donald Trump has signed another executive orders. The executive orders, girl, I thought there was a limit, but the limit does not exist. And this time he signed an executive order to dismantle the education department. Yes, you heard that right. The education department. So if you don't know what the education department is, this department manages federal student loans, distributes funding for kindergarten to 12th grade school programs, helps schools economically that support low income areas, and it helps fund programs that are under the Disabilities Education Act. The list goes on. They help anything that's relating to the education department. They help kind of like, with the money and just finding ways to like make it more equitable for people that, have disabilities or are in areas that probably don't get funded enough to get a good quality education.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly Donald Trump feels like that is a problem, right? And another point that I want to make is some people will say, well, yeah, we do need to take the education department into our own hands and tell our kids, like, we should be in charge of what our kids learn in schools. But the gag is that the education department is not in charge of that, right? The U.S. education department has no say in curriculum matters. It does not set requirements for enrollment and graduation in schools, nor does it have a say in the selection or use of school or library books, textbooks, or resources, right? So if you remember during Donald Trump's campaign, he was talking about like, oh, we don't want people learning about, people who are gay or transgender, or he's trying to ban books. The education department has nothing to do with that. That is already handled by local school officials. So again, this is all very performative because he can't just dismantle the education department. Legislations would have to be passed through Congress. And again, we're just focusing on things that are not a problem. God forbid where the education department is helping fund resources or schools that are helping people who have disabilities, that yes, they do need more money because they need to, make the school accessible, right? Create ramps or all these extra stuff. If some people have like a harder time, a learning disability, right? Yes, they might need more technology than in another school because that's the way they need to learn. Like, it's just very, what is the reason? And again, we are getting exactly what Donald Trump said he was going to do. So I don't want to say zero respect, but for the people that are like, oh, well, I thought, I didn't know, or no.
Like, who chose to be clueless? Like, my thing is, sometimes people are like, oh, well, you guys are reading between the lines. No, baby, it was fine print. It was fine print.
First paragraph.
Literally, first paragraph, first sentence, first like capital letter, like everything. And my whole thing is like when I saw that this was announced and stuff, I seen like a lot of like people who are in Congress and stuff like that tweeting like, we'll see you in court, basically type of vibe. And I'm like, okay, but it's just like, it's like you said, it's very much what was the reason? Because it's just like, what is your end goal out of all the issues that we have? This is like your main point. And so people are like, yeah, he's gonna help ban books. It's like, y'all don't think that's weird to ban books? Like, y'all don't think that like there's something wrong with that?
But also, the Department of Education has nothing to do with what books are used in schools. Like, and that's why I think it's so important for us to talk about these things, because I know a lot of people are not listening to the news, right? They just read the headlines. So I just want to make it clear. Don't be fooled. The education department is not the one that is in charge of picking what books your kid reads at school. And I strongly believe that, yes, public education is key. If you are blessed to have all this money and you don't like what is being taught in public schools, grab your little kid and your money and homeschool or pay somebody to teach your kids. Because I think it is so, as someone that went through the public education system, it's just very triggering what people, at the end of the day, this is always going to impact, like, these laws are going to impact minorities, people with disabilities, anyone that has the other are always the ones that are going to be impacted the most by these changes or whatever. Like,
yeah,
federal funding, like school loans to go to college. What? Like, why would you want to reduce that? Shouldn't we want more people to be educated? They don't want that, but that's a topic for another day.
One of the reasons why I was laughing is because while we were on the cruise, like when Roselli told us that she was in Belize, I got in the elevator and it was like us and like a bunch of other people. And like, I was like, where even is Belize? And this little boy, like he had to be like 8.
Young.
He was like, it's in Africa. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like,
I like geography.
Right. He's like, I love geography. And so I was like, I'm gonna still look that up. And so this old dude who's behind us, like, he must have been tired of hearing things. He was like, it's in South America. It's next to Honduras. I was like, oh, education system.
Right. This is what we should be pouring into the education department, not trying to dismantle it.
It was just so funny because he was truly calm. He was like, Africa.
You know, he go to like a non-public school. If you don't get homeschooled, because the mom also clocked him real quick. He was like, well, no, it's this. He either go homeschooled or he goes to like one of the top schools. But anyways, we just wanted to clear that up because it's going to be in the headlines. And those are things that we think that you should be aware of.
I just want to mention really quickly, apparently also in the headline, people think that Trump is bringing back segregation.
Well, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So yes, okay. Let me just like they're no longer going to require a ban on segregated facilities and government contracts. And I just think, yes, in a way, technically, yes. So, USA Today, they put the Trump administration is no longer requiring explicit prohibition on segregated facilities and the government contracts. There was a memo that was sent on February 15th that the U.S. General Services Administration basically segregation is still illegal in the U.S., but the memo states that contractors are still subject to laws under civil rights and all these other stuff. But technically, yes, but technically, no. Basically,
what you mean? Technically, yes, technically, no. What?
Technically, it's not like segregation everywhere, but
But I feel like there's always been ways. Like, let's say, for instance, this whole thing, right? Like, let's say they do push back on the amount of federal student aid that you get.
Yes.
Who's gonna be impacted that? Like, Latinos, Black people, because the white people that already have generational money, they're good. They still gonna get the education.
Right.
So I think there's segregation has always been there. It's just the way it is put in front of us may look differently, right? Like, again, when we talk about small businesses, right? The amount of money that Black owned businesses get is not the same as a white male owner. So I think it still exists, right? Regardless if it's illegal or not.
Yes.
Exactly. So on to our next topic. This has been, again, if you are watching this, then you most likely know about the Breakfast Club. Is the Breakfast Club only in New York and Jersey? I'm sure it's everywhere.
I feel like you can watch it on YouTube. I don't know if everybody gets it, but like for us, like I know we get it on the radio, but I don't think like unless you know who the people are and like you tune in on like YouTube and things like that, like you really wouldn't.
Okay, so essentially it is a top radio show here in the tri-state area that talks about like culture, hip-hop, news. Like, if you from here, you know the Breakfast Club, right? And the Breakfast Club is djenvy, Charlemagne the God, and now Jess Hilarious, right? And another character that has joined the Breakfast Club is Lauren. Okay, so why is all of this important, right? So Jess Hilarious was put in place after
Angela Yee.
After Angela Yee left, and now she has her own show that is just herself, right? And Jess Hilarious got this role, and then she got pregnant. She went on maternity leave, and then she came back. But before she came back, LaRosa was filling in for her, right? She would do like the newscast segment. Essentially, what's her name again? The person that used to be there? Angela Yee. She was essentially doing what Angela Yee used to do, right? Like, she was the news person, breaks things down. But she was only supposed to be there until Jess Hilarious came back from maternity leave, right? So she came back from maternity leave. The show keeps on going, but Lauren is still there. And everyone had already clocked like there was a vibe shift. Anytime like it was like a question or something, like either Jess Hilarious will tell Lauren to be quiet. Like, everyone felt that something was off, right? So the comments were always, what happened?
No, I said some type of tension.
Exactly. So, baby, the tensions hit. You know what I'm saying? When you don't address something, when it hits like over 100, you are going to explode, and that is what happened. Jess Hilarious, I guess, felt like I can't take it anymore, and she went on Instagram Live and she expressed how she was feeling. She broke down everything that I had said, essentially how she came back from maternity leave and whatever. She said, Jess Hilarious said, I was the one that actually picked Lauren to fill in for me. But then when I came back, it felt like you guys kind of wanted to push me away. But I'm just going to play a little bit of what she had to say about this, because she was just like, I don't like this, right? And the people were kind of like, I don't want to say coming for her, but they were. She had this segment called Just with the Mess. And she felt like they were trying to like push her to be something that she wasn't.
Came back. It was weird. Yes, it was weird. Yeah, I at first, no, I did not. I wasn't too fond of Lauren. No, I wasn't too fond of her when I came back, because we had a whole plan, even how when I came back, how I pick her to fill in for me, right? I come back, she ain't never leave. Then, all right, cool that she don't leave. But she's on only during my segment. If she was meant to be a fourth host, move her in another way. Why she got to be moved in on? Because nobody had a problem with Jess with the Mess until she started reading right. You know what I mean? Till she started reporting. I wasn't hired as a reporter. I was hired as Jess with the Mess. So she started reading and delivering details and all that stuff.
Yes.
Then that's when Jess with the Mess wasn't good enough no more. That's how it was presented. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Who said that though? Because the internet said that?
What are we talking about? No. This is our listeners. This is yeah. Why can't we worry about the comments? And these are people that enjoy the show and watch the show. It's not all about Instagram. It's YouTube. It's like, we have people that have been watching the show. Yeah, she's great at what she do. That's why I picked her to fill in for me. But when I came back, it's like, what's going on? If she's gonna be a fourth voice, why she only gotta be a fourth voice on my segment?
She wasn't a fourth voice. She was a producer. She was hired as a news producer to help with getting all news and doing interviews.
She was gonna be the senior news producer.
She wasn't on there. When you came back, Lauren was not on there. She was in the back doing questions, sending interview questions, reporting the news. Am I lying?
I thought you was.
She was on air.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Why didn't you wear the do-rag this morning?
Because
why you joke so much, man?
What you mean?
It's not a do-rag, it's a silk scarf, nigga. But it's not. It's not a joke. I'm serious.
If you gonna bring it to the radio, I want to laugh.
It's not a joke,
okay?
but it's not a joke.
It's a serious issue about it.
It is a serious issue.
Okay, let me just sit back and watch then, because I'm not Joe Clark.
Because it's not.
I am actually. Give me my baseball bat.
No, it's now Envy. That's what I'm saying. No, nobody has even tried to clean up the narrative that I'm a villain, man.
You're not a villain. Who said you a villain?
Yo, stop acting like you don't live in them comments too, Charlotte. Stop acting like you don't understand.
But what do I always tell you? I say, stop listening to the internet. Stop listening to the comments. Stop listening to the folks on YouTube. Don't let them trick you out your position. What you did last night is what they want you to do, and you can't let the internet win.
No, but look, it's not even about what they want me to do. I did last night what I wanted to do, what I felt like I should have been did. I've been asking questions.
The internet loves mess. And one of the easiest ways to create mess is to pit people against each other, especially two women. And I don't dwell in that. And y'all know that.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. You let the internet dictate what's going on. We've had conversations, and this is the thing. This is why I thought it was corny, and it's just me personally. I thought it was corny because we have conversations up here. We just have a meeting. If you had an issue, a problem, a situation, or something that you felt, why you ain't bring it to the team? When you came back, Jess, I pulled you to the side. I said, Jess, if you feel uncomfortable, if you don't want Lauren in the room, this is your show. We can make that the change whenever you want. Did I not say that to you?
Yeah, you did. It's not about wanting her in a room, yo. It's about the segment. Like it was like y'all
have that
if
conversation
y'all wanted
off
her.
Air. If you had a problem, say it to us. We had a meeting
conversations
yesterday.
Off air. What
not
is we
like
talking
that.
about?
Not like nobody having my back, because we have your back. As far as the Corey Holcomb thing, y'all been beefing for 11 years.
I'm not worrying about it's not even about you.
You're worried about comments, and you're worried about what people say.
I'm worried about the perception
man.
and my reputation up here on the show.
They've been itching on me for 15 years. They've been issuing on
Deserve-
Charlamagne for
rightfully so.
15
But
years.
that's on you.
Rightfully
And the
so.
things that
I
people
don't
ish
care.
on me
It
for
doesn't.
is on
I
me.
don't let it affect me because I know who I am as a person. I don't give a F what them people say in the comments.
Oh, come
I know
on.
who I
Come
am.
on.
I know what I do.
Well,
You let
that's
them people get in the comments and F with you. You
Well,
are great at what you do.
Everybody simmer down.
Like you are dope.
She's very
and you
dope.
let them people piss you off. No, F them niggas.
I
You nice. Like what you do is funny.
I tell her
Like,
that all the time,
You brought,
on air,
you brought
off
that
air.
energy that we needed to the Breakfast Club,
Yeah.
and you let a bitch ass person in the comments say something to steer you up. I tell you, F them niggas.
we don't even know.
F
We
all
don't even know
them.
who these people are. In the
They could be bots and all that,
But-
and we doing it on air when we could have did it behind the scenes. Like I F with you the long way, not on some internet ish. And they hear that through there. That
This
was
sounds,
whack,
this
man.
sounds very light skinned. But let's go to the phone.
Oh, so yeah, it definitely things boiled over and things that should have been left behind the scenes are in front of the scenes. And Lauren also spoke out and she was saying like she also felt kind of the same way. Like we should have talked about this behind the scenes. And like djenvy said, Lauren is also a producer on the show. So she's like, you are my talent. So like if you felt some type of way or something, like we could have worked this out. So how do you feel about Jess Hilarious? I think it's important to note Jess Hilarious is a comedian. She is not a reporter. She is not none of that. So this is not something that like the producers or whoever hired her didn't know. Lauren is a journalist. All of this
Came from
Jess
TMZ.
Hilarious was never that. She never portrayed to be a journalist, and she got hired as the comedian that she is because, like djenvy said, she brings something different to the table. Thoughts?
Right. So when I saw like all this happening, my whole thing is I completely get where Jess is coming from, and I low-key feel like I feel like djenvy and Charlamagne were missing the point on purpose, kind of thing. Her whole thing is like, I get it. She says she picked Lauren to be there, this, that, and the third. Cool, calm, great. She comes back. If y'all liked how a person's vibe was and stuff like that, and you want to keep them on, at the end of the day, it's not my business. I work for y'all. So if y'all want to keep her there, cool, calm, collected, that's fine. But if the segment, mind you, a lot of us know of Jess Hilarious because we've seen her on YouTube, not YouTube, on Instagram. And then when she went to Wildin' Out and she's built her traction, like Shayla mentioned, as a comedian. And she had her segment Jess with the Mess, and she never gave that vibe like she was a reporter. She would take the important facts and put a comedic twist to it. And that was cool. Like, you watched it, you were vibing, you laughed and stuff like that. So I think we all, like the people who know her, if you didn't know who she was and then you listened to that segment and you were like, well, I want to hear more of a reporter, then Lauren is the vibe that you are going to go for. But if you do know Jess Hilarious for Jess with the Mess and how she gives it and like how she narrates everything, then that's the vibe that you're going for. My thing is, if you want to give Lauren the segment of giving the news, and like a lot of people who, since this whole thing blew up and stuff like that, have been saying that they like how Lauren reads the news better. They feel like she gives all the information and stuff like that. If you like that, then that's really your vibe. And if that's what people seem to be gravitating more towards, then don't put it under Jess with the Mess. Give her her own segment.
Right. That's why they ended up renaming it, because she was like, don't call it Jess with the Mess. And then someone else is out here like reading the stuff, because it's not that, right?
Exactly.
Give it its own name, which they eventually did.
Yes. So I think the problem here is that there's not a clear like establishment of roles, right? And I think when someone comes onto the team to be a specific role or specific voice, there's an understanding. If when Jess came back from maternity leave and nobody was given a clear understanding on what their role is going to be, what the like yes, you may have a conversation. Let's say Shayla and I are in the same company or whatever like that, and they tell Shayla behind closed doors, this is what we want you for. But then I come back and like, let's say whatever I was doing, Shayla's added to it and no one's had that conversation with me about what her role is going to be, but Shayla has an understanding of what her role is going to be. Hearing it from Shayla is not going to do anything for me. I need to hear it from the people, the powers who made that decision. What is it that you were expecting? What is your vision? Like, I tell people all the time at work, just tell me what you want. Tell me what you want my role to be, and we can move on, because I will stay in my place. I'm not going to do more, and I'm not going to do less. Let me know what my role is. Tell me clear, cut, and concise what you want from me, and we can move on. I feel like the problem here is the miscommunication, because nobody really know what the outlook is supposed to look like, what the role is supposed to be. I think that's the main issue here.
Yeah, I think leadership dropped the ball. If, let's say, when Jess said, yes, let's put Lauren in this role as like the fill-in host, and then they eventually hired her as a producer, I think, to the outside people that have no idea how production works, a lot of the producers do a lot of the behind the scenes works, the writing, picking the topics, you know what I'm saying? But they never get the credit because they're behind the scenes, right? djenvy is reading it. Charlamagne the God, probably his very famous segment, like Donkey of the Day, which essentially he highlights someone that did something dumb. Maybe he very well much is the person that picks the person that he wants to tag as the Donkey of the Day, but probably a producer is actually writing what he is reading. He's not just, saying all the things. And I completely understand why Lauren is giving what I feel like the people, especially at this time where there's news every single day, they feel like this is what we need, right? The Breakfast Club that's what Angela Yee was. Yeah. That's why I feel like leadership dropped the ball in a sense, because I don't know if they thought that they wanted something different, but that's what Angela Yee was there. She was the news person. She would break down, like, here are the stories, this is what's happening. She was kind of guiding all the conversations. And I feel like Jess Hilarious is not that. She never was that. And so I think it kind of is blowing up in her face. And I don't think it's her fault. I think it's more the leadership. There wasn't a vision, or maybe they thought that this is what we wanted. We want to strive away from the news. And then they had a dose of Lauren, and they saw that the people were like, no, this is actually what we want and what we need during these times.
Right.
And then Jess was already on the contract. She was coming back, and leadership probably didn't want to have that conversation, or just like Jess said, give her own segment. She's not saying that Lauren isn't good at what she does. And maybe the way that it's being expressed, we're all different, right? I know some people might think that I'm mean and I'm this because I'm direct, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming from a good place. That's just how I am and how I speak. Like, that's just who I am. So I think all of this falls a lot on leadership, because that's why the leadership gets paid the big bucks. You don't see them, but they're the ones that are making the decisions. And if Jess felt some type of way, you should have addressed it immediately. The first time she said, I don't want, don't call it Jess with the mess if she's the one that's presenting it. That should, like, after that, okay, don't worry, we're going to change that next week, and give her own segment, because you did hire her, right? Like, she wants to feel that she is seen. And I think another point is, Charlamagne the God, sometimes he pisses me off because he's very dismissive. And I feel like, especially for women, don't dismiss. I'm telling you how I feel. Don't tell me I'm not feeling that. Don't tell me it's just because the comments. No, I am feeling this way. And until you, like, not even reassurance, but don't tell me that I'm not feeling what I'm feeling. Don't tell me that, oh, it's because of the comments that I'm feeling this way. No, I am feeling this way, and let's address it, and let's make a change. If you really, my friend, like djenvy, if you ride with me the long way, then you would listen to what I'm saying. Not like people talk, but they're not listening, comprehending. So I hope leadership understands this and makes a change, because I don't think she's fired. She's gonna be there. So
I think what it is that when you don't have leadership addressing the issues, that's when you have moments like that where Jess Hilarious goes on live and is now expressing her frustrations. Like, I feel like those type of issues, like, I get it, because Shayla and I understand the industry. If you work in one of those environments, when you have a problem, you go to your managers, you go to the people that are in charge, because you are looking to them to fix it. And the moment that does not happen, frustration boils over, and that's when things blow up in people's faces. So, like, just going on live, do I think it was the best thing that she had to do? No. But do I think now it's going to start? Like, you can't say you don't know nothing now. You can't say you didn't hear nothing about this. Like, this was literally presented to your face. And like you were saying, like, with djenvy and Charlemagne, first off, Charlemagne, not every and as someone who is a jokey joke type of person, if I am telling you how I feel and I'm being serious, I need you to lock in with me. You asking me about my do-rag, that has nothing to do with the conversation. And for real, if she really wanted to turn up and crash out, she could have crashed out right there and then. Yeah. And to your point, it's I say this to Shayla sometimes too. It's how you gonna tell me about me? And I just think, yes, djenvy, you want to sit there and say, don't pay attention to the comments. Look at half the scandals you were a part of. Maybe you should pay attention to the comments.
Right. Maybe you should start addressing them.
Right. Maybe you should. My thing is, I get where Jess is coming from, because especially if it's a brand that you created and you've cultivated on your own, you don't want to see somebody else basically taking charge of that. If I started off with Jess with the mess and it was my baby, basically, how you gonna sit there and ask somebody else? That's not the vision I have for it, because that was mine.
Yeah, and also unlike them, I feel like she did grow, her rise to fame is people liking her content. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't just the regular, I'm on TV and corporate way. She rose with her people. So she does care, aside from she does feel upset about it, but she does care about her public perception, because that is what got her here. And I also do want to give an amazing big shout out to Lauren, because she is doing her big one. I don't think that there is any issue. You know what I'm saying? It's putting her in a difficult predicament, because let's say, yes, she was then hired as a producer. She used to work for TMZ. This is her moment to shine, right? When you do get the opportunity as a producer, she probably did want to be in front of the cameras. But if you know anything about the industry, it is very hard to get on camera or to be the one actually presenting your work. So if she did get the opportunity and she is killing it, she does deserve to have a seat at the table. And like Jess Hilarious has said, she does do good at it. She's not saying don't do it, but we need to find a way to make room for both of them to be at that table, because they both deserve to be there. They just have different things to offer. And as the higher ups, just create different segments. Jess offers something different than Lauren, and they both deserve to be there. And on that note,
I just want to say this last thing to your point. It's there will always be room at the table that is meant for you. And like you said, Lauren, congratulations. You are doing your big one. You are moving up. Jess, you are doing your big one. I never thought when I saw you on Instagram that you would end up being on The Breakfast Club. Y'all are both doing amazing work. And I just think there needs to be clear guidelines on what is expected of both of y'all and the direction that's wanted. And I think y'all will be able to mediate this. I don't think y'all be best friends, but I think y'all be able to mediate it.
Right, you'll be co-workers. So on that note, let's move on to our social corner.
Yes, welcome to our social corner, where we talk about some of the things. Well, if you're new here, this is where we talk about some of the things that we've seen trending on social media or on TikTok or anything like that. And, we just give y'all a quick little 1-2 about it. We don't get too deep into it, but, have a little conversation. So instead of us spending 20 minutes talking about one thing, we're going to talk about for 15 minutes, 5 different things.
Right. So the first thing breaks my heart. Yes. If you're a 90s baby, I hate to see this. Forever 21 files for bankruptcy again, and it is expected to close all U.S. stores. And one of the reasons that, people are alleging that Forever 21 is going to shut down forever is due to the rise of competition, right? Companies like Temu and Shein, fast fashion is taking over online. And for us, Forever 21 was kind of the equivalent of that. So it's an end of an era. And I'm just I know I'm still young, but I feel like when things that I grew up on close or shut down, it makes me feel older, because it's well, my kids are never going to know what a Forever 21 is. I'm is this what older people feel like? And how do you feel about the ends of Forever 21?
So I used to work at Forever 21, if y'all don't know. But, I remember when I worked there, Shayla would tell you, I used to come home with Shayla used to be this is the worst job you could have gotten. It was bad. Like I went through my fur coat phase. I came home with 2 fur coats a day, like working there. I think for me, when I was working there, I remember hearing rumors before, like they were gonna go bankrupt and stuff like that, and then they would bounce back. So like when the news first came out that this was happening, I was like, oh, like they've done this before. But now, like, this is for real, for real. Like they really locking in on this decision. And I need to go to a Forever 21 because I heard the sales are bellissima, right? So I was like on their Forever 21 app, and girl, I found some things that I'm about to purchase. So I'm gonna get my last minute stuff. And I was thinking, I was like, I don't want to.
You have no emotional attachment other than the fact of shopping.
Oh. Yes, but like honestly, Forever 21, I feel like before Forever 21, it was Century 21, and then that's when it's like switched over and stuff like that. I just feel like a new version of it is gonna come out. I feel like that's usually what we see, and like honestly, if you think about it, Fashion Nova is Forever 21. They kind of sell the same stuff, so it's like instead of it being a like easily accessible by going to a store and seeing stuff, like for people like Shayla likes to go to the store and try things on. But for me, because I've never like going to the stores and like trying things on was never like really that big for me because people didn't have things that accommodated to my size. I'd never had a problem shopping online. So to me, like I stopped going to Forever 21 because I feel like also they kind of shifted gears on what type of outfits and stuff they were catering to. It was given more like boho chic type vibe rather than like, you know, your everyday type of wear. So to me, like, yes, it sucks, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of transitioned past them.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is I'm like, I don't get emotionally attached, but like I do get emotionally attached, and I feel like it's like if Applebee's ever shuts down or Marshalls, I might shed a tear because I just think it's staples like you grew up with, and I just, you know, for at least for me, I think they're gonna be around forever. So when you learn the news that they're not, like it does hurt a little bit, end of an era, but
I think the one store closure that really hurt me was Payless. Like when Payless closed, oh my god, I was hard.
Because there's like stories, like you remember walking down them little aisles to see if the shoes fit for real.
Girl, I used to that little BOGO sale. I was happy when my mama used to drive. I used to buy BOGO, mom, please.
So next, Kanye West, child. Kanye, yay.
Donna's child.
Baby, this is like every few months, it's a reoccurring thing. He's going on rants. It's actually so sad and concerning. And unfortunately, this is a situation. Essentially, Kanye is going on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and he is coming for everybody. He's talking about something. He's gonna end Playboy Cardi. I think it was Playboy Cardi.
Yeah, it was Playboy Cardi for having North in a song or something like that.
Yeah, he's gonna end his career. He also posted a song that featured his daughter Northwest with Diddy. Yes, Diddy, the one that is in jail right now for all of these baby oils and sex trafficking and all of these things. Christian Combs, mind you, all of this, he's posted this song despite Kim Kardashian saying like, don't do that. He's also coming for Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids.
He called them the R word.
And if you know, Beyonce and Jay-Z do not play about anything that got to do with them, their family. Jay-Z was, you know, that case that was running around Jay-Z talking about some like sexual something, they dropped that case. And Jay-Z was very adamant from the beginning, like, this is not true. This is not what, you know, like they're lying on my name. It breaks my heart because I'm a very empathetic person. And again, I grew up on Kanye's music, but it comes to a point where like he has the money. So if he really wanted help, he could get help. You know what I'm saying? If not for you, for your children. He has a wife. I don't know what that wife is doing. Naked. And then again, maybe he does want to help, but if you don't want to, like, at what point should we just be ignoring him? Should we just be ignoring Ye, or should we like be taking him serious? Because this is a reoccurring issue.
So I want to touch on this really quickly. So a lot of times when Kanye goes on these rants and stuff like that, like, you know, to your point, people say just ignore him, or there's some people who literally interact with everything that he does or whatever like that. To me, like you said, like, you have the financial ability to get the help that you need. You have to want the help. And if the people around you allow you to just be you and enable you in any type of way, I think also it, like, whenever I see this, I'm like I ask myself the question, I'm like, when is it, like, when do you stop trying to feel bad? Like, when do you stop trying to be understanding and say, oh, mental health is the issue right now? Like, yes, I understand mental health is the issue, but like, lock this man up in a cage. Like, grab his phone, do something, like, use
Maybe
physical
not a
restraint.
cage.
Like, I just don't understand, like, the idea of just letting him roam free like that. And I get it. Kanye is one of them people, like, even if you cancel him, he don't care. Like,
Yeah.
it don't matter. He gonna do what he want. He gonna say what he want. It don't matter. And like, to your point about him going on his little like Twitter rant, when he called Beyonce and Jay-Z's children like the R word and stuff like that, you know, y'all know Solange is the certified crash out of the family. Like, she is a certified YN. She changed her profile photo to her with a gun, bruh.
Listen, if there's one family I would not play with, it's Beyonce and Jay-Z. They have the money, the power, the reach, everything.
Ask Carrie
But
Hill.
you know what? They be like, F around and find out. He better keep playing because he will
He's
find
gonna
out.
catch, and my thing is, he's going to catch the right one. Like, you can't, like, I don't care, as much as I understand mental health is such an issue for everybody, it gets to a point where once I catch you outside, it's nothing about mental health. It's about respect and disrespect. And you gonna catch the right one who gonna put the pause on you. And it's because you haven't found that person yet. That's why you think that you could talk like that, or you just don't care. And it's okay. If you don't care, there's someone who always cares less. So
yeah, and also this whole notion of like, I want to be a good dad. I remember like when TikTok first dropped, that was the issue. Oh, I don't want my kids on TikTok. But you are doing so much worse. You literally dropped a song with your daughter and Diddy. Like, miss me with all that. Oh, I want to be a present Black father. Miss me with all of that because it's a lie. It's a front. And I think Kim Kardashian is going to sue to have sole custody of her kids because now it's getting to a point where like you're doing a lot. And there was like, I don't know if this is true or not, but there were rumors that like Northwest was like visiting Kanye, and like during the visitation, like Andrew Tate was there. I don't know. A lot of things are just happening. And if you actually want to be a present father, just watch what you say, because at the end of the day, when we hit court, all of these things are going to matter. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you are putting your children in these situations with people that are not okay, that's not going to help you if you're trying to be a present father.
and to that point, I remember when Northwest had first got on TikTok and like Kim was like, I'm like basically like supervising, and he was like, no, as the father, I have a say. It's like, if Kim literally told you, I don't support the Kardashians at all, like, I'm just gonna say that. But if Kim's literally saying, as the mother, I don't want Northwest, like, I don't want this song to be released or nothing like that. As the mother, she has a say. So you can't just sit there and do whatever you want. It can't apply for you. And then when it's the mother, it doesn't apply for them. Like, that's not how it works. But like, honestly, to answer your question from earlier, I do ignore Kanye because, one, I don't pay attention to that man. Like, I feel like because of me, I'm like, you're chatting, like, you're talking. I understand you're not mentally there. And because of that, I will ignore that and lack every type of sympathy. I have no sympathy for him now. What I'm saying is, like, if I paid attention to him, I feel like the sympathy I already don't have for you would literally grow and fester to like the point of true disgust. So it's like, I just don't, for my own mental sanity, I don't pay attention to him. Anytime I see people posting, he going on his rants, I'm like, baby, don't pay attention to, I ignore him.
Let's not fuel the fire.
Exactly.
Okay, so on to the next.
That's just me. Yes. Wait, the next thing, was it mine? Yes. Okay, y'all. Okay, so I talked earlier about TikTok, how there's always some type of drama. So now let's get into this new TikTok drama. So as you know, in the past, we talked about Deshae Frost, we've talked about DDG, and we've talked about Kai. Why am I mentioning these three? So Brooklyn Frost, which is Deshae Frost's sister. Then you have Teetee, which is DDG's sister, and Gigi, which is Kai Cenat's girlfriend. They had all went to Rolling Loud. So when they went to Rolling Loud, they were streaming it. So this is being live streamed and everything like that. I believe it was on Brooklyn stream, but on Twitch and stuff like that, like they're there, they're together. Teetee, she basically the whole thing is that she customized her own outfit, right? So as they're there at Rolling Loud, they're talking, they're eating, whatever like that. Some random man walks up to them all and basically starts like trying to come at TT's outfit low key, try to be funny, but also trying to be like, oh, you cute though, type vibe. It's like very weird, but I'm gonna play the video for y'all so y'all can get a better understanding of like what we're trying to get at.
You look like you better go start a Anybody ever tell you that? Wow. But you weird it though.
No.
Like you look.
No. Get on him back. You don't tell her. You don't get on my friend like that.
100%. I'm about to get on your friend.
No.
But she look good in it though.
So that's what you need to come up to her and say.
You know.
What did you see
I'm Orthodox. I'm not a regular ass nigga. I don't. Be like, oh, I love you, babe. You look good. Hey. I'd be like, you look weird. You know?
Are you lying?
You wearing the fuck out of outfit. I don't care about that. That's not what I want. I don't want to replace your boyfriend. I'm married. You are not above my. You are not on my pay grade. Sorry.
What? Well, why the fuck are you here?
I'm telling you, you look good in your outfit.
Thank you.
Little left eye.
Don't worry about it.
You tried to play me by saying you got a boyfriend, but I got a wife.
No.
That's different timing. I'm gonna tell you something. These women, they think when they compliment you, they think it's you hitting on them. It's not.
No,
I got a whole woman at home.
All right, then go home to your woman, nigga.
Wait,
ooh,
I'm here at the concert.
Yelling about?
Sexy little left eye. I just wanted to say you look good. But not with them pins on. Do a better job.
That shit was the funniest shit.
So the reason why this has been like being talked about so widely on TikTok and stuff like that is because a lot of people are saying, so the two people who you saw laughing, giggling off into the corner, that's Brooklyn and that's Gigi. Brooklyn's the one who was wearing the red, and Gigi was wearing these I don't know, mountain boots on her feet or whatever like that, right? So people have basically on social media have been coming to the defense of Teetee because they're saying if that is your friend and like she's basically being come at like that, y'all laughing like about to be falling over each other is the problem, right? So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because when I saw this, I was just like, and Shayla and I had a conversation a little bit about this yesterday, and she was saying that she thinks
don't tell them what I'm gonna say.
Okay,
just say your side.
So when I saw this, like I just imagine like one thing about it, I like to come at my friends. I will bully them and stuff like that, and like I will do that. But I can't see somebody else doing that to them because I'm automatically on defense for them. Like that's the dynamic of our friendship. Like, you know, the like I come at you, you come at me type vibe. That's cool for us. No rando, especially no dude, could walk up to my friends and start coming. I don't care if it's a compliment. Even if it's a compliment, I got my eyes on you. Like, I don't play that. I don't play that. And I think so Brooklyn and Gigi have both went on their own things and said their thoughts about the situation. And Gigi basically tried to like put it on Teetee saying, well, if she felt uncomfortable, she should have said something to us. And then Brooklyn was like, oh, like, I'm just a laughy person. It's like, that's great. You could be a laughy person. I am a very giggly, laughy type of person. But when it's time for me to lock in for my friends, nothing is funny. Nothing will be funny. Not even, you won't see an ounce of these 32s showing. I promise you that. So it's like, for me, it's like when you have, and honestly, Gigi and Teetee are not real friends. Like, they're not friends for real. They're only the only reason their only connection is Brooklyn, right? And when Teetee addressed the situation, she basically said that she wishes Brooklyn did step up more for her, which is Deshae Frost's sister. And that she didn't really want to speak on Gigi because that's not really her friend. The only connection that they have is Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it goes further to the conversation. With every trio, there's still a duo. Like, it does not matter. And I've been through so many trio friendships, and it always is a duo. It's always like me and someone else, or like that's like two other people. There's always gonna be two people that are closer in that trio. And it's like, that's usually what it is.
Okay, so several thoughts. Number one, it's very easy to say I woulda, shoulda, coulda, all of these things.
Yeah.
When you are actually living through life, things are perceived differently. Like Rebecca said, Rebecca is a very giggly, akiki, friendly type of person. And I wholeheartedly believe if I would have been in that situation, Rebecca would have been laughing. But that does not mean that she is not a good friend. That's the type of person that Rebecca is. She's a giggly, ha 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 ha. I know if I would have said, oh, I don't like that's not funny, whatever, then Rebecca would have like, oh, this is no longer a joke, and gotten into serious mode. And honestly, this is the first time I'm watching this video, and it didn't give like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. To me, Shayla Marie, I thought like, oh, she was like engaging with him, like, oh, da-da-da. I would have been like, stop talking to me. This is not funny. And because if you're giggling, then I feel like your friends are gonna think that it's like that you're okay with it. When you look back at the video, it's very easy to say I would have, could have done all of these things. But if your friend doesn't know how you're feeling, they're not gonna give off. They're only gonna act as you act. If I didn't hear her say, I don't like that you're saying this, or maybe she did say it and I just couldn't hear the audio very well. It's very easy when you're looking through the lens of a situation to say, I would have done this, I could have done this. We don't, at least I don't know these people. Maybe Rebecca knows how I am, right? Like, now if I were in that situation, Rebecca knows how I am. I'm already a serious person as is. So she knows, like, oh, I don't mess with that type of stuff. I don't like when people just come up to me and like on some, like, how you trying to compliment me, bag me while also dragging me? Like, in what world does that make sense? You're weird. And also, if you know, people do a lot of stuff for content. So also, as the other girls, if we're live streaming this is like, oh, this is real good. This is content right here. Because it was just getting food regular. And now someone came in and gave me a good clip to clip.
So my whole thing is, right, so it already, to Shayla's point, when like we go out, like Shayla said, I am the gig, like life of the party, everything like that, but I got my eyes on my friends. And like, for me, I'm watching my friends, because I know my friends how I know them. I'm watching body language, I'm watching facial expressions, and I'm watching that. So if we were in that situation, like, prime example, when we were on the cruise, like, this random dude walked up to Deanna, and I saw Deanna, I grabbed that girl hand and I spun her around to me, because I don't care what that man talking to you about. Come over here. And if he got a problem, he could talk to me. And then when he still tried to talk,
Rebecca thinks she a security guard.
I do be thinking I'm security. Listen, I tell you, I will lock in. Like, whenever a dude is talking to my friend, I'm gonna give you a space, but
you're not. No, she is not. No, you're not.
I am.
You are there. I'm like, girl, let her give you a little signal or something. She gonna walk.
I need to hear this. I need to hear it.
No, you don't.
My thing is,
Moral of the story is Rebecca thinks she's with the people. She says, yes, her friend should have stood up. I feel like I didn't get from that video that she was uncomfortable. I feel like maybe when you're behind the lens and you watch these people every day, their everyday moves, you probably like, you know them better than anyone else because you're sitting watching them on live stream every day. You know how they act, how they don't act, what they do, what they don't do. So you're like, oh yeah, I know she's not feeling comfortable. But like when you're actually living through life, it's different. The same way people are like, oh, if my man cheat, I'm never taking him back. And I know a lot of y'all have taken back. Like when you got to go through that real life and it happens to you, you're like, oh yeah, I understand that. The same with like iPad kids. When I have my kid, they're never going to use iPad. Then you have your kid and they will use an iPad. So I'm glad that they apologized. And, you know, if Teetee does feel offended, she has a right to feel that way. And like that stuff that they should deal with in their own life. And I think when you stream your whole life, it makes it hard because now you got to deal not only with like your real life issues, but now you got to like report to everybody else, to millions of people that are watching you. And I just could not imagine like if I have a drama or a situation with my friends, not only do I have to speak to it with my friends, but I also got to report back to millions of people. I don't like that.
And I agree with you. Never say never. I do agree with that because you never know what might happen at this situation. You may think that you're going to do this. You never know. Mm-hmm. But also for me, what I'm saying is I pick up on keywords. The moment he said, this is what's wrong with you ladies, conversation got to be nipped in the butt. Because who are you talking to? Like, let's
say
like
to entertain people.
Me?
You're like, what you mean? Yes, and I would have had a whole
okay, but Sheila, what I'm saying is I would have come at him. I would not be sitting there giggling. There's a different type of entertaining. There's, oh yeah, like let me feed into it. Or there's, okay, so what you trying to say? Because you coming at her, but you look at you. You look like you about to go, you looking like you here to take care of the lawn. You're not here for the concert. You talk about you got a wife at home, but you came here to talk to me. What you talking to me about? Why are you talking to her?
Right.
Like, that's why I'm saying, I'm not saying like, yes, in the beginning, I could have been like, what is this dude talking about? But the moment he would have like, okay, left eye and did all this, like, you doing too much. You want clout, so let me help you get this clout. I'm on your ass.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, I want to, this has been a real special episode because we are way above time. But I do want to talk about this one last thing on our social corner. And it is actually concerning. Guess who is teaming up, child? I like as a society, we are down extremely bad.
Down by
Doordash and Klarna have signed a deal where customers can choose to pay for food deliveries in installments. What? If you ever needed a sign that America wants you to be in debt forever, this is it. If you cannot afford to go and pick up your food or to get it delivered to you, please don't you ever, honestly, don't tell me if you ever use Klarna for DoorDash because I think you have a problem. If you cannot afford that, don't do it. Get your lazy behind up and get your food.
My thing is, as someone who is a part of the big back community, there's like different big back levels, and like it gets to a point where it gets
the limit does not exist.
I can't imagine like ordering a McDonald's meal, and putting it like, oh snap, I don't got money for this. So instead of me thinking, let me go rummage through what I got in the fridge, or get up and figure out what I have in my financial bracket at the moment, I'm gonna put this on Klarna. You don't think a Klarna?
Let me put this in a 4-month plan to pay off a McDonald's meal. Like, are you okay?
To break down a Big Mac into 4 payments is kind of crazy. Like it gets to a point where you got to look at yourself and ask the question,
you need to seek help. And I'm so serious, and I'm the empathetic person. You need to seek real life help. Like, go to your doctor right now, call him or her or they, and be like, It should be like a 911 call. I am about to use Klarna for DoorDash. Can you please come help me? Because you need help. Don't you ever use that. And that's a setup. America wants you to be in debt forever. They want you, like, I just so many questions.
I saw this, I sent it to Shayla. I said, like, America gotta be like one of the most unserious places in the world.
They're serving you diabetes on a platter. Like, they want you to have all the health conditions, all the stuff. Like, whatever. I just can't even imagine that.
I'm just trying to picture me trying to purchase like a 4 for $4, and I'm like, dag, I don't got this money. Let me put a Klarna on it.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily like fast food. You can go to like a nice dinner, whatever. But I just feel like if you cannot afford that, save the Klarna for like real life stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, dig through whatever you have at home. You already did groceries. The only way I will accept it is maybe if you're doing grocery shopping. But also, like, it's a setup. It really is a setup. There's enough things to be in debt with. We don't even know if we could ever afford a house. So let's just keep those debts for things that we can actually, like, you know what I'm saying? Priorities. I guess food is a priority. I don't know. I just want to talk about one last thing in our sports corner.
Tell them this, Diddy Mitch, Junior want to not be on my
So I just want to give a quick shout out to Unrivaled. I know I've been talking about Unrivaled before it even started, and their inaugural season has come to an end, and Angel Reese's Rose Club actually ended up winning it all, which was super amazing because ESPN had them, like, they listed all the clubs as 6 clubs, and they were ranked 6 according to ESPN, and they ended up winning it all. Regardless of how many players were out, you know, they had to have like fill-in players. They ended up winning it all. And yeah, I feel like Unrivaled content has been amazing. And it is putting Kathy, the commissioner for the WNBA, on her P's and Q's, because the ladies had estheticians in their in Miami and like their facilities. They had everything that they needed. And it was kind of like a wake-up call for these players that weren't necessarily used to having all of these luxuries in their franchises. Like, oh, this is how I should be treated. So now, you know, they're going to be expecting to keep the same energy when they head back to the WNBA, which is supposed to be like, if anything, the WNBA was supposed to be setting the tone, not this new league that just started. But I think that's why, like, representation matters. The fact that this league was made by WNBA players who have played overseas, they understand what their necessities are. They also have kids, right? They had a daycare center there where they could just drop off their kids, and the moms didn't have to worry about, like, you know, where am I going to leave my kid or whatever. Like, it just provided everything that the women needed. And I love to see women succeed. Also, March Madness is here. And I'm super excited. I'm rooting for the UConn women's team. This is Paige's last year, and I would love for her to win it all. But who knows? That's who I'm rooting for. We'll check in a few weeks from now. Rebecca, do you watch March Madness? She doesn't watch college basketball.
See, that's my thing. So, like, y'all know I'm a very big NBA girl and NFL girl and stuff like that. But one of the things that I will say that I fall short on is, like, when it comes to March Madness, and also when it comes to like the drafts, like, those are just things, like, I feel like because I always grew up having an understanding of about the NBA, and I grew to an understanding for the NFL, that's like that's all next on my checklist is like to understand March Madness, to understand like the drafts and like why these things are important and stuff like that. Like, I have my coworker give me a small breakdown. Shout out to you, Matt. And like, I understand a little bit. Yeah. But like, I feel like I really need to get into it because, like, you know, everybody has like these college teams that they are rooting for. I didn't even realize I did watch March Madness because Shayla was like,
with Angel Reese when she was at LSU
and all them, and I was like, oh girl, I ain't even peep. Like, I didn't know that's what it was for real. But I honestly do want to get into it. I want to lock in. I don't know how.
There's a lot of good games now. You can start watching ESPN all day. Just put it on and start watching. Because I think the main thing about it is, first you start with the person, the athlete, and you like them, and then you eventually end up watching them, right? Because Angel Reese, like, Angel Reese to me is what Caitlin Clark is to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people credit Caitlin for, you know, showing them or like welcoming them into the WNBA. For me, that's Angel Reese. I love Angel Reese down. And when I first started watching, I was rooting for LSU. But then I'm like, well, who's closest to me and plays in D1? I know Seton Hall, they're not a part of the NCAA tournaments. They weren't selected, but UConn was. And yeah, so now I'm a UConn bandwagon. But anyone, if you're playing and you're from the tri-state area, I'm gonna be rooting for you because
I think that's like because Shayla put me on to LSU, and because of that, like I knew who Flau'jae was because of America's Got Talent, but I just didn't know that she was also an athlete. So like when I saw like Angel Reese and then I saw Flau'jae, I said, hold up. So like that's when I kind of locked in with them. But it's like one thing about me, like if it's not consistently in my face, like I'm really not going, like my interest in it isn't going to be long. Like there's not going to be longevity in that. So I think for me, what it is like I need to find a college that I really lock in with. Like first, obviously a player.
I think we'll like South Carolina with Dawn Staley. She's mad because of Carmela Cardoso and what happened when when Flau'jae's brother, that was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
I was rooting against them. Like, nah, I don't think I could really like I like Dawn because she mad funny, especially like she be having her little dog come to the little stage.
Yes, honey.
And like I like her, but I feel like because of that, because I will always like I'm very big on like family stands up for family. So like when I saw people acting like that, I was like, oh, absolutely not. I don't know, but like
that has nothing to do with the team though. We'll watch. I try to get her into it. I'll try again during this March Madness season. We want to send well wishes to Stephen Curry. He had a bad fall.
Oh my God, my baby.
Well wishes. He's good. It was just a contusion. I read an article.
The way he hit the ground, my heart dropped.
Yeah.
Well
wishes.
Right, because I need us to get into that. Like we're already in playoff contention, but we do not need to be in the play-in. We don't need to be.
Y'all need to save your energy.
Okay, I need y'all be like working my boy Steph to the bone.
Right.
Okay. Also, because you know your girl has been a little in love with Darius Garland. They're doing okay right now. They did lose unexpectedly recently, but it's okay. They played today against the Phoenix Suns, and I can't wait to see what Darius does.
Yeah, they're the number one seed anyway, so I feel like they'll be all right. Anyways,
Darius, you ever see this?
Hey. Anyways, thank you guys so much. If you made it this far, thank you. You're a real one. Comment down below a flower emoji because it is spring season.
And a blue heart because I don't know if y'all peep. The girls been into the blue. Like, peep me.
Okay, blue and some flowers. Thank you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. You can follow us on Instagram. Whatever you have, Instagram, TikTok, X, all the things, Facebook, Too Much SB. And we'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.